Well, it's never straightforward being a Wolves fan, is it? The news over the last 24 hours has taken over in regards to the search for a new head coach. I'm going to be giving you the latest on today's video. As always, let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below, guys, as well. And hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. It's coming up to around 2 weeks now. It's about a week and a half since the sacking of Bruno Lage at Wolves. And Wolves are still looking for a head coach. And at the time, we thought that Steve Davis and James Collins, the under-18s and under-21s managers, we thought they were going to be taking over just for that game against Chelsea. But now it seems extremely likely they're going to be taking charge for the game this weekend, a must-win game against Nottingham Forest. And it looks likely they're going to be taking charge of next Tuesday's game against Crystal Palace as well. Of course, the rumours and links have been very strong for the past 7 days in regards to Julian Lopetegui, the first target Fosun had in mind when they took over the club back in 2016. Missed out on him as he took the role as Spain national team boss. And we thought that everything was aligning really nicely. He was under a little bit of pressure at Sevilla. Things hadn't worked out for him. He was relieved of his duties last Wednesday evening. And we thought, this is it. This is a match made in heaven. Fosun have wanted this since day one. And talks had accelerated, especially over the weekend. It was said that Jeff Shee had flown out to Spain, where Lopetegui was, with his family. There were little whispers and rumours on sort of Thursday, Friday, that he possibly wanted some time out. We're unsure why that was the case. And it's come to light yesterday evening, Tuesday evening, that Julian Lopetegui has turned down the chance to become Wolverhampton Wanderers manager. Now, he was extremely tempted by the role, it said, but unfortunately his father, who's in his 90s now, has got poor health, and the situation just hasn't, it's not the right timing for him basically to take the job. Can completely understand it from his point of view. Leaving the country, your own country where your family is, your father's in poor health. If he takes the job and God forbid anything happens, I think he would regret that point of view. So it's now back in Wolves' court. I think, of course, it's frustrating for Wolves because it seemed, I don't think they would have flown out to Spain without, being sort of under the impression that Lopetegui would be interested. I think there was definitely interest there. But now Wolves are back to square one. Lopetegui was pretty much the front runner for, like I said, the last week or so. The next favourite now was Pedro Martins, the former Olympiacos manager, managed against Wolves in the Europa League a few years ago, has managed the likes of Daniel Podence and Jose Sarr. And to be fair to him, he's got a pretty decent track record wherever he's managed. He was sacked earlier on this season by Olympiacos due to a Champions League result. But a lot of fans turn their nose up at this, and I sort of understand it because he's possibly not the household attractive name that Wolves fans want or expect in charge of the club. It's another Portuguese manager which some fans, rightly or wrongly, want to come away from, because we've had 2 Portuguese managers in recent times. Bruno Lage didn't work out quite well. Nuno sort of turned sour towards the end. So I get it from some fans' point of view. They want a little bit of a change of direction. Pedro Martins, from fairly reputable sources in Portugal, it was said today that he was in advanced talks with Wolves, and that was fairly quickly rubbished by some local sources here in the UK, such as Alex Crook of TalkSport and Liam Keane of the Express and Star. So that rules Pedro Martins out the running now. They said that he's not under consideration by Wolves. So where does it leave us now? Bo Svensson of Mainz in the Bundesliga. He's also been linked, but reports in Germany suggest that they don't think he'll be leaving Mainz this season at least. I don't know where Wolves turn from here. Nuno is obviously somebody that spoke about. I understand that he's not in the consideration either for the Wolves job. So I think whoever gets this job is going to be a little bit of a surprise now. The Wolves stick with Premier League tried and tested managers. I mean, who's out there that you can think of? Sean Dyche, is that really a Wolves appointment? I've seen him linked with the Albion job as well over the last day or so. Rafa Benitez, again, a very safe, quite boring appointment. Do Wolves go with maybe a manager till the end of the season and then see what Lopetegui's situation is like next summer? But then do you risk getting a manager in who's possibly not that bothered in the long-term future of the club? It's a weird position that Wolves are in at right now. You could say they've put themselves in this position because I think Bruno Lage, I think it was right to let him go, but Wolves should have had a plan in place. Right, if we sack Bruno Lage on the Sunday or the Saturday or Sunday, we know by the Monday or Tuesday we should have our new head coach ready to come in, take training, do the business. Maybe they thought that was the case with Lopetegui. Maybe they thought by the end of that week they would have him in, and that's backfired massively. So it's a difficult position for Wolves to be in. So they have put themselves in this mess. But it's one of those. I think Wolves really should have sounded out the options before. So right now we're going into a spell of the second game, and like I said earlier, possibly a third game with no head coach at Wolves, and we're coming into such a crucial stage of the season now. We're playing obviously Forest this weekend, big game. We've got Crystal Palace next week, which is a winnable match. We played Leicester, who are struggling. We played Brentford, who you would say on paper is a winnable game. That's 4 games in a row, potential of 12 points. No disrespects to Steve Davis and James Collins. Are they going to be the men to get us? We've got to be aiming for at least 6 to 9 points out of those games. You've got to be taken quite seriously this season. Unfortunately, I think for a lot of fans, we look at the situation right now, and I think some fans are looking at, not a huge amount, I think, I'm talking minority fans here, we're talking about the likes of Thomas Tuchel, Mauricio Pochettino. I think these sort of fans still think we're a Europa League club. That's 3 years or so is a long, long time in football. We're nowhere near that standard as of yet. And, you've got to look at a manager now. Are funds going to be available in January? I don't know. We've spent a lot of money in the summer on a manager who obviously it hasn't worked for. So it's going to be interesting. You would hope that Wolves get their act together in the next day or so. We have some more news. But at the moment, Wolves, it's not clear who's going to be taking over. Just looking at the betting odds right now, like I said, favourite was Pedro Martins. Looks like that's out of the picture. Ruben Amorim of Sporting. Be very surprised if Wolves, pay the money to get him in, although that would be an amazing appointment. Andre Villas-Boas, another manager who did fairly well in his last role. I believe it was at Marseille, but had quite some time out of football now. Possibly this Wolves job could be his way back in. Who knows? And then Bo Svensson, like I mentioned earlier, almost ruled out as well. So, be interesting to see. But Julian Lopetegui will not be the Wolves head coach as of right now. Possibly long term, we might well see it. But for right now, it's not happening. Guys, let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. Who should Wolves get in as a new head coach? But strange times right now for Wolves, and something that needs to happen quite quickly. As always, be sure to hit the like button down below. Subscribe to the channel if you're new, guys. And I'll see you all very, very soon.